Hello everyone, in this video we are going to go through Html-Javascript. JavaScript makes HTML pages more dynamic and interactive. By the way, for this video I'm using Visual Studio Code as my code editor and this index.html. And if you need to learn more about Visual Studio Code, you can watch my videos and find the links in the description. And in this index.html, it's a very basic HTML document. Let me show you how it looks like. I'm gonna start my live server, and here it is. It opens up the browser and doesn't need you to reload the page as you make changes. It's a very handy extension of Visual Studio Code. And with the help of JavaScript, you can change content, you can change styles and attributes as well. And let me give an example. Now, the script tag is used to define a client-side script, JavaScript. The script element either contains the script statements or it points to an external script file through the source attribute. And I'll also show you that way, as well as common uses for JavaScript are image manipulation, form validation, and dynamic changes of content. To select an HTML elements, JavaScript most often uses the document.getElementById method. Let me give an example. Now, I'm gonna take a heading tag, and I'm not gonna type anything here, but an ID equals text. Let's say text. Hit save. As you see, we don't have anything here. Now I'm gonna introduce JavaScript. Now let's see the power of JavaScript. Document dot get element by ID. And I'm gonna give an ID here, txt. Alright, now I'm gonna call inner HTML equals hello world. Now we don't have anything here right now. Now if I save my page, this is the power of JavaScript. It dynamically adds a text within this h1 tag. Now let's say I have a text here, hello world, and I'm gonna comment this out for now. Save. Now this text is coming from this text, what we have defined within h1 tag. Now we can change this text on click. Let me define a button here, and I'm gonna type in here change text. Save, and I'm gonna add in here an attribute on click, and I'm gonna define a function here, change text with parentheses. Alright, let's copy this function from here, and I'm going to define this function here, paste some curly braces, and I'm going to copy this here. Alright, paste, and I'm going to uncomment this. So what I want to do now, I want to change this hello world to hello JavaScript. Save. Now on click, this function should be called. There you go. So that's the power of JavaScript. You can also change the styling of your element with the help of JavaScript. And let me show you. Now that document dot get element by ID, and the ID is text, and I will change the style dot, I'm going to change the font of this text to, let's say, font size to be 30 pixels, or let's say 40 pixels. Let's save. If I hit this button, it changes the text as well as font size. We can also change the color of our text. Let me copy this from here and paste it in here. I'm gonna change the color to red. Save. There you go. Alright, now you can also change an attribute of HTML element by, now I'm gonna take an image tag here, and I have got two images in my source folder. This is image 1, let me maximize it, and this is image 2, and we are going to change, let's say I'm going to set this image by default here in this index.html. Just copy relative path and paste it in here, hit save, and see what we have now. Let me resize it. It should be 200, and it should also be 200. Save. That looks much better. And let's come in here, and I'm going to type in here document dot get element by ID, and ID should be, let me define the ID for image. Let's say ID equals image 1. Let's copy this ID and paste it in here. And what I'm gonna do with it is I'm gonna change the source to this picture. Let's copy the relative path and paste it in here. Save. And now if I click this button, it should change the image as well. There you go. So that was the power of JavaScript. If you need to learn more about JavaScript, you can watch my videos and find the links in the description below. And until then, thank you for watching, and see you next time.